I mentioned at the very beginning of the program an hour ago that tomorrow is the day that the FCC is holding basically a vote on a vote, I think would be a way to describe it. But let's get somebody who really knows what they're talking about. Becky Bond is on the line. She's the political director with Credo. CredoAction.com is the website. Becky, welcome to the program.
Oh, it's great to be here, Tom. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Tell me, what is the now you've got over 310,000 Credo activists. People can react to this by going over to Credo, CREDO, action.com. Over 310,000 Credo activists have urged former lobbyist and now FCC Chairman Wheeler to save net neutrality. I'm assuming that you're asking Mr. Wheeler to simply use Title II of the Telecommunications Act or whatever it is, Title II, please tell me, to classify Internet service providers as common carriers.
I love how you introduced that as simply, Tom, because it is a really complicated subject, but there's a really simple answer to it. Those of us who are Internet users, we're used to the fact that when we go online and use the Internet, that we're in control of what websites that we look at, and net neutrality is the principle that lets us do that. Right. But there's been a recent court case that struck down some FCC rules that previously would ensure that companies can't speed up or slow down or block web content based on who the owners are. And that's all about to change unless we can convince the FCC and the new FCC chair, who you pointed out is a former telecom lobbyist, to take action.
Right.
Now, what's happening right now is that the FCC is considering new rules to decide whether companies like Comcast and AT&T can decide whether there's a fast lane and a slow lane on the Internet, or if it's going to be like it's always been, where companies like AT&T, Comcast, and Verizon are actually not allowed by federal regulators to discriminate against web content. And the way they're going to have to do this is actually do something kind of complicated, which is to reclassify broadband as a public utility. It goes back to the Bush era, when the Bush administration actually deregulated broadband and the Internet service providers. It used to be they had to act like telephone companies. Right. I mean, imagine if I wanted to call and order up my cable, and if I called Comcast on the phone, it was patched right through. But if I called an independent service like SonicNet or Monkey Brains here in San Francisco, they just put me on hold. They might put my call through in an hour or so. You can imagine what that kind of discrimination can lead to.
Or alternatively, if I'm talking with my mom, my mom's dead, but if I'm talking with one of my brothers, they listen in on the phone conversation and say, there's no commerce there, so we'll just charge him the normal, 3 cents a minute for his phone call. But if I'm talking to my business manager, they listen in on the phone call and they say, he's engaged in commerce right now. He's making money on this. We're going to charge him 50 cents a minute for this phone call.
Exactly. I mean, this is something that we have. We have equality on the Internet today, and it's time for a Democratic White House and a democratically appointed head of the FCC and those commissioners to actually undo what Bush did back in his administration and ensure that we're going to have equality on the Internet for all users. I mean, the Internet is it's not like, getting the second tier on your cable TV. I mean, this is how people access information. This is how people start companies. This is how people take classes. This is how people communicate with each other around the world. This is an essential public utility, and we need to make sure that it's regulated properly and that the government, a Democratic administration especially, doesn't turn it over into the hands of companies like Comcast, AT&T, and Verizon, who we know what they'll do with it. They'll just serve their own monopoly.
Yeah, they'll do the same thing they did with cable television. They'll say, this is ours. And, oh, by the way, would you like a little bit of that? That's $5 a month extra. And
I think most people like the Internet more than they like their cable provider, and I think we've got I think that people are ready to stand up and make sure that we can keep it that way. But the FCC has to take action, and they have to undo this Bush era deregulation.
So the FCC, are there 5 commissioners altogether?
Yes.
You have 2 Democrats, 2 Republicans, and the chairman, and he was appointed by Obama and is theoretically a Democrat. And so he and the 2 other Democrats, that's a majority. The 3 of them could, correct me if I'm wrong, could simply say, and in fact a U.S. District Court ruling suggested that they say, that the Internet is a public utility and Internet service providers and backbone providers are simply common carriers. They could do that, correct?
That's all they have to do.
Okay.
Their own lawyers have said that's what has to be done if they want to have net neutrality rules with teeth.
We
simply have to vote to do so.
Right. So we know that Tom Wheeler's not inclined to do that, the former lobbyist who's the chairman, although he might be pushed. What about the two Democrats on the commission?
They've already come out and said, "Hey, we need to take a look at this." We've been hearing. They said we've been getting phone calls and emails. We've been getting massive pushback from the grassroots, and this is something that we need to slow down these plans that Chairman Wheeler announced to create a fast lane and a slow lane in the internet and undo net neutrality. So I think we have a real fighting chance here. I mean, the problem is that Democrats haven't historically been great on this issue. In 2010, there were 74 Democrats in the House that signed a letter backed by AT&T that basically told the FCC, it's fine if you don't reclassify the broadband providers as common carriers. The decision that led to the court case that struck down the net neutrality rules, they said, it's pushed by the telecom industries who are some major donors, and they gave the signal to the FCC, like, you don't need to stick your neck out on this because we're with the big telecom companies. So this is a replay of that moment, because in 2010, the FCC had the chance to take action and save net neutrality for real. Instead, they passed rules without addressing the deregulation, rules that their own counsel at the FCC said would be struck down in courts. It was kind of like a slow-motion cave on the issue. They tried to, publicly give something to the activists by calling something net neutrality rules, when in reality they did something that they knew was what the companies wanted. But now we get what we rarely get, and we're getting a do-over on these rules because of the court case.
If they vote tomorrow to simply do the namby-pamby regulation thing, and the new cosmetically improved version that the chairman has rolled out in the last couple of days, does that close the door to the possibility of a Title II definition as a common carrier?
Well, this is just the beginning of the fight, Tom, and that's because there's been such grassroots pushback. Mm-hmm. So not only are two of the commissioners saying we need to take time, but even if they have a vote tomorrow, this is going to be up for public comment. It's not going to be any kind of final rules that are going to be decided. We have time for Internet users, and that's millions of people across this country, to weigh in and defend their Internet.
And to absolutely raise hell.
That's exactly what's going to happen. We're already seeing massive pressure on the House and on the Senate. Thousands of people have been calling in. The telecommunications industry tried to float the same kind of letter that was so successful in 2010, getting members of the House to Democrats in the House to tell the FCC it's okay to side with the big telecom companies on this, and they were only able to get a fraction of the signatures that they were able to get in 2010. So this is one where it's a clear result of massive pushback from citizens being able to slow down the process.
I would think Tea Partiers would be as freaked out as anybody else. We should be reaching out to the right on this too, shouldn't we?
That's a really good point. And, in previous fights on this, it has been a right-left coalition. You have the Christian Coalition, and you have groups like Credo and Move On that are fighting against this together, because really it's about big, massive corporate power versus independents and regular users. So this is something which is a populist issue. It's not a Democratic or Republican issue.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a quick question, Becky. We're running out of time here. We're talking Becky Bond, the political director at Credo, credoaction.com. Is this the Credo that offers telephone service?
It is.
Do you, if I upgrade to the new iPhone when it comes out later this year, can I have you as my carrier instead of AT&T?
Absolutely. You can have me as your personal customer service agent too. You can do it anytime.
Okay.
Make that happen.
We got a deal. Becky Bond, political director with Credo, credoaction.com, because I got an old iPhone 4 and the screen is cracked and it doesn't work, but I've been waiting. Anyhow, Becky, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Keep up the great work. We'll be back.